Our bonus story is called Miss Busy, written by the same artists. Oops, sorry about that. There's a notification. Oops. Why is the camera always doing this to me? There we are. Miss Busy loved nothing more than to be hard at work, keeping herself busy. As busy as a bee. In fact, as busy as a hive of bees. Every day she would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh my goodness, I never get up that early. Then Miss Busy would read a chapter from a favourite book. It was called Work is Good for You. And then she would get down to the housework. She would begin by tidying up and then sweeping and dusting and scrubbing and polishing until everything was spotless. She would clean her house from top to bottom and then from bottom to top, just to make sure. She even dusted the bread and polished the butter. She wasn't happy unless she was busy working. And she didn't rest all day long, not for a minute. Excuse me. And she didn't rest all day long, not for a minute, not even for a second. From 3 o'clock in the morning until after midnight. Wow. That was until last Monday. Miss Busy wasn't up at 3 o'clock. She wasn't up by 6 o'clock. She wasn't even out of bed by 9 o'clock. She was ill. Oh, calamity, she cried. I won't be able to do any work. She telephoned Dr. Makewell. 5 minutes later, he was at her bedside. He asked her to put out her tongue. He examined her throat. And he looked at her hands and feet. What you need is rest. A lot of rest, he said with a broad smile. A lot of rest, repeated Miss Busy to herself. Oh, calamity! There was a loud thump, which was the sound of Miss Busy falling over backwards onto her bed, luckily for her. On Tuesday, Mr. Strong called to see Mr. Busy. He bought her 72 eggs. Go on, count them. There is nothing like eggs for giving you strength, said Mr. Strong. By the 72nd egg, Miss Busy was feeling a bit better. That was until Mr. Strong said, Now you must rest to get your strength up. There was a loud thump, which was the sound of Miss Busy falling over backwards onto her bed. Luckily for her. On Wednesday, Mr. Greedy came to visit. He bought her an enormous bowl of food. I always find that eating a big meal makes me feel better, said Mr. Greedy. Miss Busy ate a lot. She felt better than ever. That was until Mr. Greedy said, Now you must rest to let your stomach settle. There was a loud thump. And you know what that was, don't you? That's right. Miss Busy had fallen over backwards. On Thursday, Mr. Nonsense popped in to see Miss Busy. He bought her an umbrella. Hello, he said. I heard you're not feeling well. You don't need a rest. Miss Busy jumped for joy, right out of bed. You need a holiday, finished Mr. Nonsense. There was a loud thump. That's right. There, you look better already, said Mr. Nonsense, and left. By the open window. Miss Busy picked herself up. A small smile formed on her face. Something Mr. Nonsense had said had actually made sense. She had never thought of going on holiday before. The more she thought about it, the happier she felt. She thought of all the fun things she could do. There was all the planning and organising, and there was all the shopping she would have to do. There was the packing, and she would have to learn the language and read lots of books about the place she was going to. What a lot of work. Miss Busy smiled happily. The following Thursday, she was awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Everything was ready. Miss Busy had one of the busiest weeks of her life, which is saying something. She had only one thing left to do, and that was to learn how to twiddle her thumbs. Time for our bedtime lesson.